Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome to Red Storm Chasers. I'm Vincent here with Tim and Nick. On this episode, we're going to look back at the win against Sacred Heart and the loss to Boston College before looking ahead to the Fordham matchup in the Holiday Festival at the Garden. Guys, a little up and down week, right? Win and a loss, but how's everything else?
My week was pretty good. It started off well against Sacred Heart. We beat them pretty definitively. And then the BC loss was not nearly as good. But what was a little bit better for me, at least, was I avoided what we call the toilet bowl in our fantasy football league. So I was a little happy about that.
Damn, Nick, really bringing in the salt to the wound for Tim, who unfortunately did make the toilet bowl in our fantasy football league.
For the second year in a row.
Tim, how was your week besides making the toilet bowl?
Well, I mean, I won the week. It was just, unfortunately, it was a four-way tie for four people being 5-9, so it's just kind of BS. Like, toilet bowl is usually like two teams that are definitively bad.
That's fair.
Hey, it happens.
I do agree. Our league was pretty evenly split this year, but it's rough. Someone's got to be there. So got to hope for a win, Tim. Otherwise, we get to hear some nice stand-up comedy from our own Tim Taylor.
I'll just redo the one I did last year.
No. Considering we'll all be there again.
New material.
You got to bring something new. Otherwise, we'll throw things at you.
That was never in the script.
Well, get ready because throwing things at you was also not in the script, or at least not planned.
I'll bring them out. I'll be knockoff Gallagher.
There you go. Well, that's something at least.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the Sacred Heart game a little bit. It was a good win, 35-point victory, 85-50. That's, more of these wins, and we got no problem.
Yeah.
51 rebounds to their 27. That's exactly what we're looking for. We first in the nation, still currently, per game offensive rebounds. We are St. John's, 18.2 per game. But obviously it's Sacred Heart, so right, you expect to win a rebound battle. But that number is still pretty big. I mean, a 51-27 split on rebounds is a huge margin.
I mean, we almost out-rebounded them just with our offensive rebounds.
That's a very, very good point.
27-22.
We came close.
Yeah.
But for the time, but for not taking our foot off the gas, I should say, at the end, we probably would have. 11 of 16 from the free throw line, not a great number, 68%. We got to get that number up. We did shoot 41% from three, though. 12 of 29. That's the kind of three-point shooting performance this team is kind of expected to have, to be completely honest. We hope to shoot that well in most games. Obviously, a very high percentage there.
Seems like the plan for this year is to live and die by the three. So hopefully, if we keep getting 40-some-odd% every game, we'll be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, we have been living and die by the three a bit, which you don't love to see. Hopefully, that changes and it becomes just kind of a way to balance or benefit our offense.
Well, I mean, it is Rick Pitino. He's the guy who he figured out how to utilize the three-point shot the best and also how to defend it the best. So we just need to have both those running at the same time.
Yeah, we need to work on the defense a little bit more. Not in this game. In this game, we were fantastic.
In this game, we were fine. We'll get to our defensive issues in a little bit. Just some points of note, I guess you would say. Soriano, 18 points as per usual for him. He hit another three-pointer. Always good to see Joel hit a three-pointer.
I love that his three is the one dead center, and he goes that one every time.
I know.
In the Boston College game, he did the one on the wing, and then he missed it. He can't do it anymore. He's got to go right up the middle.
It's his dead on though. He's deadly. If you just get him straight on, he can keep going.
Yeah.
Dingle also had 17 points. A good night for him. Jenkins had 13. A little bit of I talked about this once before, and we'll get into this certainly more in the next game. But this was a good game for us off the bench. 6 scorers off the bench. We had a lot of guys getting in. Now, obviously, again, we were up by a lot. You get a lot of guys in the rotation. A lot of guys have opportunities to score that they don't normally have.
Right.
Good to see 6 people scoring off the bench. For Sacred Heart, Nico Gillette had 13 points. He led the way for them with 7 rebounds, 5 assists as well. So this game couldn't have gone any better, right? This is the game we expected to have or expect to have against teams like Sacred Heart. This is the games where in the past you hold your breath, right? And hope that we don't throw a clunker. Fortunately, it seems like, at least for now, that era is kind of over.
Yes.
For the most, well, we haven't had that loss this year, right? Holy Cross, Stony Brook, we got Sacred Heart. You know what I mean? Those are the games where, in the past, the Delaware States of the world would get us, right?
Right.
Incarnate word.
The fine paperclip.
So, it's good to see that. it felt good to win by 35 points.
Oh yeah, I could tell you. I mean, being at the game, it was loud. It was even though it was still out crowd, it was still a little light inside the arena. I will note that, but it was loud enough.
Goes by tickets sold.
I know. I'm just saying. But it was still loud in there, and it was it was high energy. It's always great being at Carter Six, especially when you get so many guys in and out of the game. Everybody's seeing a lot of people that they don't usually see on the floor, so it was really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, going to those games, we need to get the student section a little more filled.
Oh yeah.
And we have the Garden coming up against Fordham. We should easily win, but we need the student section filled a lot more.
Yeah, we do a better job in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, people want to go to the Garden.
The issue with
more.
Carter Sec, I mean, listen, it's Sacred Heart with all due respect on a Wednesday night. That's a tough sell for students. I mean, it shouldn't be, right? It's on campus, but at the same time, being realistic, we won by 35 points.
Right.
It
was a great game for us, but it wasn't like a great game to watch.
Your average fan is not really pumped for a 35-point matchup. So I get it a little bit.
I mean, not having the stress of freaking out and just being up a team that we should be up.
Oh, no, I love it.
It's such a fantastic feeling.
It is. It makes me feel way more confident about the base level of the team, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the really has the impact is that listen, we're not going to win every game, right? And certainly obviously we haven't so far. But the games we really should win, we're going to win.
Yeah.
At least that's the feeling you get. Now, obviously, it's college basketball. You could always lose. Anybody can kind of beat anybody now.
Oh, yeah.
So, but anyway, I digress.
That's how I felt about Boston College. I had that same exact feeling when we were going to the Boston College.
Well, good segue, Nick. Because moving on to the Boston College game, which I have to say, I similarly looked into it as maybe a step-over game, right? This is a team who's not projected to finish high in the ACC. This is a team who has not really been a predominant basketball school in a while. And they're not supposed to be this year. But they got the best of us, 86-80. They came away with the victory. I think we'll get into the full takeaways in a minute. But the key here, I think, can be laid out by the one statement from Rick Pitino in the post-game press conference where he said, when Joel Soriano's not on the court, we're like a ship without a captain, right? Yeah. And I think this team is the epitome of that. When Joel Soriano's not out there, it looks like we're playing hero ball. We don't know what to do. We kind of just have guys who just are going to do whatever the heck they feel like doing, throwing up bad shots, not knowing exactly the play, not knowing exactly the best where they're supposed to be, and that's a mistake we have to quickly correct.
Yeah,
because we've got Xavier, who's having a rough year, but we've got Xavier coming in next week, and then we got UConn right after it. So I know this team meshing we've talked about it's going to take some time. We're 2 months in now.
Yeah,
it's time.
If they're not meshing now, we're about to be in the Big East season, right? We only have 2 more non-conference games. If we're not meshing now, when are we going to start meshing? Right? Well, it's not going to happen in the middle of the Big East season. It also can't be
Joel Soriano has to play every minute.
Right.
Right? That's not possible.
That's not going to work.
So we need to get to a point where Joel Soriano can come off the court, and we know we're not going to all of a sudden have an 11-minute run without points.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in this game. Not 11 minutes, 6 minutes scoring, right? We're up by 14, up by 10, 6 minutes without scoring. That's how we gave up this lead. Get you some of the numbers. St. John's, 40% from the field. Pretty good numbers. Boston College, though, they did absolutely shoot out of their minds. 56% from the field. 21% from three for St. John's. That's what we talked about there, living and dying with the three. 21% is too low for us. We were 4 of 19, which hurts us. We can't, when we go 4 of 19 from three, we're in danger of losing.
Living and dying, baby.
As we did.
We died.
We died because we shot 21%.
We did everything we could in this game. I mean, we scored 80 points.
Yeah.
We played absolutely no defense. Our biggest problem, and like Rick Pitino at the end of the press conference after the game, he reiterated that we have a lot of guys on this team that have never played defense before because they never had to. They had to be the guy who played all the offense, and they had to be the scorer, they had to be the facilitator, and they would figure out somebody else on defense. Now they have to be they're not that guy, right? Joel Soriano's that guy.
Right.
So now they have to be his role players around him.
Yeah.
They have to make him better.
They
And
haven't
have
figured
to-
out that.
Yeah.
We haven't figured out how to be role players yet. And I get it, right? It's a hard transition. If I'm the guy, because I'm the best player on my team, I have to continue to score to win. That mindset's hard to break.
It is, absolutely. But it's got to be.
But more than any of that, that doesn't mean you get to take off defense. And our defense was atrocious.
Absolutely. I mean, we
Atrocious. We
gave
gave 86 points.
to a Boston College team that's not
No,
particularly
they
that
shot
good.
56% from the field, 38% from three. I mean, we gave up 5 3-pointers to this team who is not supposed to be that good.
No, yeah.
And
they were like wide open threes, and we were getting lost. We were losing guys left and right. We were bad. We were bad, and they got tons of offensive
defense
rebounds
was
too.
terrible. We got out rebounded in this game, 39-37. I know it's close, but still, that we can't be getting out rebounded by Boston College. We shot better from the free throw line, really good, 87%. That's where you want to be, 14-16.
Yeah, I mean we did what we had to do on the free throw line. Listen, at the same time, we had about the same fouls, 22 to I think 18 it was them.
Yeah,
But they had 28 free throws compared to our 16, which is interesting, I guess. I don't know how that happened.
it's tough, but they didn't do too well. For
They didn't
free
do
throw,
too
they
well,
shot
thank God.
67%.
But you
so-
know what? It didn't matter anyway because we still lost. Because
That's true.
we do got to give a little credit to their guy Quentin Post. He was doing he did
Quentin
pretty,
Post is 7-foot guy. We mentioned him last week about him being the problem. Well, he was the problem, right? 14 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists.
He almost had a triple double.
I mean, that's nuts.
He was pretty good.
He's really good. He's a good player. He's going to be an NBA player.
Maybe
No, yeah, he's getting looks,
is he?
according to the ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I
Fair
guess
enough.
was doing the game. But anyway, we'll see how that pans out. But he's got talent, and we knew he was going to be a problem, and he was, right?
Yeah.
But 14 points isn't terrible.
No.
The problem is we also gave up 14 points to 2 other guys, and we gave up 13 points to another guy.
Yeah,
So that shows the lack of defense.
just nothing.
Well,
We were-
Soriano shut down Post in the second half.
Yeah, but then that's
but-
when and then he just started passing it out, and then
Yeah.
he got like how many assists in the second half?
Yeah. Well, the
they
problem
had
was
5 guys score double digits.
almost once we hit that 10-point lead in the second half, we started giving up these lob passes that they just had breakaways each and every time. When we had the press going,
Yeah.
it was just sloppy. It was something that I can only imagine Patino literally looking at it and wanting to smash the TV screen after watching it.
Oh yeah, he looked mad. And it's funny because like we didn't even play that bad in the first half. Like again, we played no defense in the first half. We were only down by 2 points going into halftime, so we weren't in the worst spot. And we weren't playing defense, but we were scoring. And then second half, we came out and just boom, punch him in the mouth real quick. Went up.
The first half of the second half was great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We were like,
it was really good. And then
right.
we forgot how to play.
Well,
We let them go on an 8-0 run.
and
then we came back and got that 10-0
Well,
run.
right. But
Like,
at that first half of the second half, it looked like, okay, the first half was a little shaky. St. John's coming into control. This
Yeah.
is the way the rest of the game's going to go.
Exactly.
But then, like you said, we gave that up. Then we got it back, and then we gave it up again.
And then we just went. We didn't score for like 5-6 minutes.
6
or something
minutes.
Like 6 minutes.
Anytime you don't score in 6 minutes, that's
You're not gonna win.
it's going to be hard to win.
Also, we didn't utilize a lot of our bench. The only
Well-
guys we had off the bench was Aline, and then we had Ejiofor in for a little bit, but he had 5 minutes and then 4 fouls.
I talked about it a little bit in the Sacred Heart where we had 6 guys score off the bench, right? Obviously, that's against Sacred Heart. That's really good. You want that. In this game, the exact opposite. We had 2 guys off the bench score. We talked about this earlier in the season when we played West Virginia. Now, we came away with a win in that one, but same problem. We had 2 guys score, Ejiofor and Aline. I know teams are typically not that deep in college basketball. 7 is typically enough, and that's fine. However, for us, it seems to be a problem when we only have 1 or 2 guys scoring off the bench. Dayton loss. We had 2 guys scoring off the bench. This Boston College, 2 guys scoring off the bench. The West Virginia game was a close game, 2 guys scoring off the bench. I get that you're not going to be that deep, right? We're not always going to get a third guy to come in, and I understand that, and I'm not asking for that.
right.
But we need something from the guys on the bench.
Again.
It doesn't have to be a lot of points, but if they can get some good minutes in.
Yeah, you need to come in, have energy. And the thing is, especially when we're running our entire offense through Joel Serrano, who is a center, who is a target for guards to just run down the center, and they're going to try to
Exactly.
foul him. They're going to go after him. We need to have guys coming off the bench. I say it a million. I like Ejiofor. I love Ejiofor. We need a big forward. He's our guy. We're going with him. We're going with Glenn Taylor's also going to shift in there with the 5 because he's big. We need guys like that to really step up in that case, and that's where the bench comes in, right? And they need to be solid. And if they can't come in and somebody else, to your point, step up and captain the ship, maybe it's not the guy who comes off the bench. Maybe it's somebody else who steps up. If they can't shift into their role though like that, that's when we have issues because then Joel Soriano's off the court. And we can't score. We can't play defense. We have no idea what's going on.
It's not that we need the guy off. Yeah, we don't need the guy off the bench to be a leader.
No,
but we just need him to get good minutes.
He needs to be a spark plug off the bench.
Not even a spark plug. I just need a guy who's going to come in and prevent the 6-minute drought, prevent the Joel Soriano's off the court. So all of a sudden it's a free for all.
So what's funny? I would say this defensively and heart wise, I would say it's Drissa, but he needs to work on his offense.
There's a reason Rick Pitino kept him.
Yeah.
But we need defensive guys right now. Our defense, like we talked about, terrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
But we also need Simeon playing with Drissa because Simeon always finds Drissa. I would probably, I don't have it off in front of me at this point, but I would probably say that most of Drissa's points this year have come off of Simeon passes.
Okay.
Now,
I haven't paid attention enough to note it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I really think that Simeon should have got more playing time. You had our 2 point guards combining 1 for 10 from the 3-point line. We needed better scoring, and we needed someone besides Joel to step up in that game.
Yeah.
Why not give Simeon more time, let him create, let him pass around, and we could possibly do something at that point.
Yeah.
Now,
he came in for a minute, and he looked a little shaky because he was not playing defense at all. He made the turnover, and then he went down on the other end, and then didn't play defense at all.
Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, we'll get off the court.
Yeah.
He's what he was?
tough.
He's a freshman.
He's a freshman.
You can still tell he's a
getting
freshman.
there.
He needs to get more time.
It's
to
okay to pull him.
To your point, he does need a little more time.
Yeah, but give him a few more minutes, though. You're 100% right about
get
that.
him back in, and compared to the last game where he definitely had a lot more playing time. It was Sacred Heart, but we had 25 assists for Sacred Heart, but 16. And a lot of that was we would drive down, and the person dribbling would shoot the 3. He'd get to the 3-point line and be like, they're off me a little bit, I'll shoot.
Yeah.
When you hit, and you've been hitting, that's a great thing.
Yeah, live and die, baby.
But when you are not hot, and you pull that again, like, oh, I got to shoot out of it. You need to get someone who can score at this point because...
Yeah.
Hey, we might we had more offensive rebounds than defensive rebounds in this game, but we are better at the long rebound this year. A lot better. The long rebound we do get more often.
We missed a lot of them. Against Boston College. A lot of long rebounds.
But we used to miss a lot.
We missed a lot.
Well, we used to miss even more, though.
That's fair. Okay.
We used to get none.
They would get 3 or 4 possessions out.
We were terrible, and then we're bad now.
Yeah, we were horrible, and now we're like, this is pretty crappy.
Okay, I guess that's an upgrade.
It's an upgrade.
Well, any upgrade is an upgrade.
Yeah,
that's not the new St. John's mentality.
Well, okay, but again,
the ceiling is the roof.
The ceiling is. We have to get better on defense, though, right? And I know we keep saying that, and we seem to be beating a dead drum. But here, just to give you some numbers,
scored 80 points.
St. John's is 127th in the country in defensive efficiency. That's pathetic. Anytime you're ranked in the hundreds in college basketball, against top 100 teams, St. John's, we've played 5 of them this year. First of all, we have a 2-3 record, which doesn't bode well. Secondarily, we're giving up 79 points a game. Just to compare that with our average. In an average game, we're giving up 63 points a game. So we're giving up almost 16 more points against teams in the top 100.
Yeah.
What that says is that our defense is not equipped to play against good teams, which is terrifying heading into not this weekend, but next week, right? When you're going to face Xavier and you're going to face UConn.
What is there, only 2 teams, I think, in the Big East that aren't in the top 100? DePaul and Georgetown.
Yeah. Those are, I would assume. I don't know about Georgetown's numbers, but
no,
certainly DePaul.
Georgetown is low.
I know they're low. I just don't know. I know, but DePaul is... Poor DePaul. DePaul had like a season or 2 where they're flash in a pan. We can do it.
Well,
and now they're back.
They have NBA players.
Yeah, that doesn't help them.
But they just, they sucked.
Well, you can have NBA players, but if you don't win games, it doesn't matter. So anyway, just to give those... It's not just us saying the defense is bad. It is actually bad, and it needs to get fixed in a hurry. All right, let's go to our spotlight player of the week. Tim, starting with you. Let's get some positive energy going because Craig's not here to give us some random answer. So you got to lead the way, Tim.
Okay, well, it's going to be pretty easy because I can tell you Craig probably has the same vote as Joel Soriano.
Well, he's not here. His vote doesn't count, but you go. Vote Joel Soriano. That's one vote for Joel Soriano.
He sent a messenger pigeon. I got it right here.
It doesn't count.
Caw.
We take no proxy votes here. Joel Soriano, fair. I mean, it's always easy. It's a cop-out vote a little bit, Tim. But, 18 points against Sacred Heart, 21 points against Boston College. He's the leader. It's what he does.
I'm just waiting for him to get ripped off of for the first team all Big East.
It happened last year.
Naturally.
Nick, who do we got? Who are you voting for?
So I'm actually going to go with Jenkins this week.
Oh,
Between Sacred Heart and Boston College, he had 12 assists and he had 8 steals, and he only had 3 turnovers. At the beginning of the season, he was turning over the ball a lot more. I questioned, how, he was making a lot of silly mistakes, but I was wondering whether it was because he wasn't gelled with the team yet. The team hasn't gelled yet. It looks like the team is gelling more, so, he's my spotlight player of the week because if he continues playing like this, we're going to be in good hands.
I, too, am going to vote for Jenkins. So, Tim, take that. Joel Soriano did not get it this week. No, I know Joel Soriano is going to come on here one day and be like, why do you hate me? But I don't. I don't hate him. I think it's too easy. Jenkins, 13 points against Sacred Heart. I know it's Sacred Heart, but still 10 points against Boston College. 2 double-digit games back-to-back for him in a short period of time. It's nice to see him. Like you said, Nick, I think he's starting to mesh better with the team. I think he's finally feeling more comfortable. And I think he could be an asset to our team. And I think as long as he continues to build on what he's had in this week and has had at the beginning of the season, I think, we could be in for some good things. So
he's got to work on not fouling as much, maybe. That's the one thing he's got to work on. But other than that,
he did foul out. He fouled out. But, listen, there's times where it's good to foul out. Joel Soriano should have fouled out, by the way, in the Boston College game.
That is true. You can't just stand there looking around. I know you got 4 fouls, but the game is going to end if you don't, and he didn't, and the game ended.
Yeah, that was a bad time for us. What happened there is the real question. It seemed like Patino probably didn't call for a foul.
They said it on the broadcast.
They said he didn't. But with all due respect, you got to be fouling there.
You can't.
You got to try to extend the game. And I know you have 4 fouls, but you have to do it. You have to just commit the foul and get out of the game. I mean, listen, you're probably going to lose anyway. Might as well commit the foul. At least extend the game, see what happens. We looked foolish.
Yeah, we did.
It looked like
we had no idea what we were
doing.
doing.
We had no idea what we were doing. It looked like no game awareness, and it was an unfortunate way to end. But anyway, Danish Jenkins, congratulations. Spotlight Player of the Week for him. Alrighty, looking ahead to this week, only one game. I got to be honest, I love the 2-game weeks.
Oh, yeah,
That's
of course.
better. I mean, once we
More
get to Big
St.
East
John's
play, it'll
basketball
be
is
2
amazing.
games a week, but a little light. It feels a little light when it's only one game.
Yeah, I like when my daughter looks at the TV and goes, basketball again? I'm like, yep, exactly.
That's it. Exactly. Well, this week we've got Fordham, Tim's favorite, 5-5 on the season, Saturday, 3 p.m. This is on Fox Sports 1. It's the Holiday Festival at Madison Square Garden, a classic I would say tournament. It's not really a tournament, but yeah, a New York City staple, the Holiday Festival at the Garden. They've been having for years. It's a nice festival. Penn State, Georgia Tech game at noon. Then you got St. John's, Fordham, 3:30, and actually the women's play afterwards. It's St. John's and Villanova at 6 p.m. So it's always a nice little day. I think, in my opinion, just my opinion.
College basketball in Madison Square Garden is never a bad day.
That's true. I mean, you get a whole day of it,
And you get to see Penn State and you said Georgia
Tech. Not a bad game.
Not a bad game. You get to see some random teams. Some teams you could.
You'll get to see the Ram, which is Tim's best friend.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Make sure you stick around for the women's game, though. I always feel kind of bad. People start to leave during the women's game. If you go, make sure you stick around because we root hard for those ladies as well.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, looking ahead at Fordham. Their last game, common opponent here, North Texas. They won 60-59. We're the next game for them, though. It's funny. We both get a week off here, which is kind of funny. They played on Saturday. We played on Saturday. And now...
I wonder why that is.
It just happens sometimes.
Is it like
finals? It is finals time,
finals.
so my guess is that probably plays into it.
Yeah.
Usually around now, that's when teams get a break, and then They do get some break around Christmas, although it's going to be a little short this year with Christmas on a Monday.
You usually get like a 3-day break.
Yeah, it's going to be rough this year because we're playing fairly back to back. Anyway, they're picked 7th in the A10. However, they did get one vote to be.
Can you vote
first.
for yourself?
I think you can't.
I feel like you can't. That would be silly.
Actually, you may be able to. I have no idea how the preseason poll coaching works, but
Well, I guess not, because then they couldn't be unanimous.
I would laugh hysterically. Well, I mean, sure, you could. Listen, just because. Oh, you're right. It couldn't be unanimous unless you voted for yourself. So maybe the Fordham guy voted for himself. Hey, listen,
He's like, I got the best.
He's trying to motivate his players.
He's trying to motivate players.
Look, we got one vote for first. Coach, who did you vote for? That's not important right now.
But you can see how close we are.
Yeah.
Look, we're 8th.
Listen, we're right there. All right, guys, we're right there.
Actually, probably doing that. They were probably ranked to go lower, picked to go lower, and then that one vote boosted them.
You could boost yourself that way. I mean, it is a little sketchy, but
if you feel like it.
I mean, hey, listen.
Hey, you're making a statement, right?
Hey, man, whatever you guys
What
do.
What if Fordham comes in the A10 and just runs it? That would be pretty awesome, actually.
They could. I mean,
I do want to see.
The season would have to change drastically from where it's been right now for the Fordham Rams. But listen, it's not unheard of. The A10's a good conference, though, so it seems unlikely. I'm just saying. I mean, I guess you never know, but considering right now Fordham's best win is at Manhattan, maybe Norfolk State.
It would be,
actually no, North Texas. Duh, I missed them. North Texas. They're certainly their best win is North Texas because their other wins are against Norfolk State, Wagner. Who else did I say? Manhattan and Fairleigh Dickinson. By far, North Texas is their best win. Again, Richmond's a very good team in the A10. I don't really see Fordham coming in and running it, but hey, listen, I know, right? Dayton, who we lost to. Anyway. This is a game, I know I've said this before, I know we said this against Boston College, but this is a game we should win on paper. Now, as you can see against Boston College, you never know. But as we talk about, this is the era where I think those layup games are just that. They're layup games. So we'll see what happens. We've actually only ever lost them 22 times. 67-22, our all-time record against the Fordham Rams. All right, their best player is Jafet Medor. Averages 11 points a game. 3 assists per game as well. But they've also got 2 other guys who average double digits. Joshua Rivera, 10 points, almost 11 points a game, 4 rebounds, shoots 47% from the field. He's a 3-4 kind of guy. So he'll be, causing some problems for our defense, which hasn't been great. But the big guy that Joel Soriano will have his hands full with is Abdul Simbila. He averages 10 points a game, 8.5 rebounds, and shoots 65% from the field.
He also averages 2.7 blocks a game, so he's going to be somebody to watch out. I'm sure, I don't know who you said they haven't really played a lot of tough competition. So, no. I don't know how many tall people he's gone against, so maybe he's just been, he's only 6'9", so he's not the tallest guy in the world.
He's going to have his hands full with Joel Soriano.
Well, definitely.
So he's certainly going to be fighting the uphill battle.
I question about our guards who try to go after him.
That is fair. It's blocks is always a concern for us. We tend to drive a lot, but at the end of the day, this is a team whose current net ranking is 207. So, as much as they're Fordham and it's in the Garden and there'll be Fordham fans there because it's New York and, this is a game where, as long as Tim doesn't fight the Fordham Ram and get kicked out, I think we'll happily head home after the end of the game.
No promises.
It's, you never know what can happen there. But I think we'll end up with a victory.
We should win.
We should win this game. And I know we've said that before, and we keep repeating ourselves. But
what else are we going to say?
That's in these early games like this, sometimes just winning them when you're supposed to is good.
That's all you got to do. You get it. Well, win is a win is a win. 1-0. That's all you can go in a game.
Boost yourself, and this is pretty much it, right? We've got Hofstra coming up at the end of the month. That's the other game that's a layup. Xavier is next.
Hofstra's not a terrible team.
Well, but in terms of it should be for us, right? That's a team. That's the game you walk into automatically. You should win that game.
Right.
But Xavier is next week, right? Xavier is next week. UConn is also next week. Those are real games. Not that the other games don't count, but these are games that are going to be real challenges.
Yeah, we're starting our Big East season.
This is it. We've now got to figure out the team we're heading into the Big East play with has to come out in this Fordham game. So if we don't win this game, we're walking in shambles to the Xavier game.
Right, we're looking like a team that's not ready to play in the Big East.
Correct.
And we're starting to play the Big East.
And listen, we obviously get a little bit of a bounce back, right? Because we have the UConn game and we get a week off, and then we play Hofstra. But after that, full on Big East play, 3 days later. So
We got to be ready now. We got to figure it out now.
this is a game where
Hopefully the BC was the last hiccup we
that's
had.
what I'm hoping. I'm hoping the BC game we got out of our way. We come out, we play against Fordham like we should play against Fordham, and that's it. That's the end of this week. Happy end of the week on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, go right into a good football Sunday where we win our money back.
we can only hope.
And Tim tries to avoid
And Tim
the
tries to
punishment
avoid
of the
doing
toilet bowl.
comedy stand up routine.
Yep.
Well, Tim, I wish you the best. Although you already did the comedy stand up once, so I won't wish it on you again. That would be rude.
I would actually kind of like to see your other opponent, Dapo, do a 5-minute stand-up.
I think that would be
hysterical.
funny.
That would legitimately be funny.
That would be interesting.
I'm sure Tim's rooting for it. I know Tim's certainly not rooting to go up there again.
Full on pom-poms.
All right, well, that'll do it for this episode. For Tim and Nick, I'm Vincent. Go Johnnies. Keep chasing.